pocos medios han creado la convulsión mediática que supuso en Estados Unidos la creación del canal de noticias 24 horas Fox News en 1996. Si hay que hablar de fundadores de Fox News, es inevitable hablar de tres nombres clave. Rupert Murdoch, el propietario de la 20th Century Fox, que es la que creó Fox News desde el punto de vista empresarial.
I'd just like to say how delighted I am that we've now reached this moment when we can firmly announce the starting of a Fox News channel and a much greater effort on the build-up of Fox News in every area.
Roger Ailes, el ex asesor presidencial de Reagan, Nixon y Bush padre, considerado un genio de la televisión, ya había creado, cuando estuvo en la NBC, la cadena de noticias económica CNBC, y es el que se encargó poner en marcha la Fox News.
We'd like to be premier journalists. We'd like to restore objectivity where we find it lacking, and certainly there could be that interpretation because of my background, but I left politics a number of years ago and have run a news organization for the last 2 years. So we just expect to do fine, balanced journalism.
Y el señor Bill O'Reilly, que fue, digamos, la cara visible, presentador estrella, durante las primeras décadas de existencia de Fox News. Hubo más personas, pero yo creo que serían las tres fundamentales para explicar el triunfo de la Fox.
You're a Christian or a white man in the USA? It's open season on you. There is a war between traditional Americans and secular progressives in this country. The left sees white privilege in America as an oppressive force that must be done away with. Taking voting power away from the white precincts is the quickest way to do that. So-called white privilege, bad. Diversity, good.
Me llama la atención cuando oigo a gente que dice que habría que imitar en España el éxito de la Fox News, pero sin la inacción de decir empresario millonario, estratega de medios y estrella mediática, que fue la clave para que aquello funcionara. Cuando oigo hablar digo, pero ¿quién es el millonario, quién es el estratega y quién es la estrella? Porque al final parece que es una misma persona que quiere ocupar todos los cargos. Para hacer un Fox News o un Vox News parece complicado. En el caso de Fox News es llamativo porque en aquel momento ya existía la CNN desde 1980, que había estado durante casi 15 años como canal de noticias 24 horas en exclusiva en Estados Unidos. Se acababa de crear la MSNBC con la potencia de la General Electric y Microsoft, y ahora aparecía Fox News, con lo cual había dudas de si podía haber mercado para tres. De hecho, que a la CNN le sentó como una patada que se creara Fox News, lo demuestra el hecho de que al poco tiempo de que se anunciara que se iba a crear Fox News, el creador de la CNN, Ted Turner, salió diciendo que le parecía que lo que hacía Murdoch era invadir como había hecho Hitler durante la Segunda Guerra Mundial. Un ataque bastante excesivo que evidencia lo mal que le sentó a la CNN la entrada en escena de Fox News. Y mal que le iba a sentar porque Fox News en muy poco tiempo iba a superarle en antena por una idea muy importante que entendió Rupert Murdoch y sobre todo que entendió Roger Ailes antes que nadie, que es que la clave del éxito era poner línea editorial, porque la línea editorial fidelizaba. Hay que decir que para ese momento ya había línea editorial en periódicos desde siempre, en radios la de cada opinador, los opinadores ya había la figura del predicador radiofónico a los Rush Limbaugh, pero todavía nadie había puesto línea editorial en un medio de comunicación, porque se entendía que si tú ponías línea editorial a un medio de comunicación perdías público, y en cambio Roger Ailes entendió que si ponían línea editorial a Fox News, en este caso siendo la voz de los conservadores en Estados Unidos, lo que hacían era fidelizar a la audiencia. Y es un hecho que la estrategia funcionó, porque Fox News no solo es que ganara a la CNN, es que la acabó duplicando.
Una pregunta. ¿Quién es vuestra audiencia?
Todo el mundo. Queremos tener la audiencia más amplia.
Todos los demás servicios de noticias, si lo pensáis, tienen un sesgo de izquierdas. Y eso está bien, bien. Dejaremos que todos se peguen por esa mitad y seremos los amos de la otra mitad.
Asking a former Fox News chairman and CEO Roger Ailes. Well, Rachel Maddow has the #1 primetime cable news show on MSNBC, Fox News' rival. But Rachel, a good friend of yours, Roger Ailes, is somewhat of a mentor?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because we were always obviously on very different ends of the ideological spectrum, but I met Roger years ago, and I went to talk to him about the profession of cable news. Because as for all of my differences with him, he kind of invented the genre, and people I know who worked for him at the time, said that he might be open to talking to me about it. And I talked to him about what he thought about my performance on TV. It started what I think became a collegial friendship. He blurbed my book, which was a funny thing.
Y de hecho, la MSNBC primero y la CNN después han acabado metiendo línea editorial, con lo cual se entiende que se dieron cuenta que al final tener línea editorial ayudaba a fidelizar a los espectadores. Hay que reconocer que a Fox News le ocurrió algo que fue muy favorable, aunque sea duro decirlo, que son las guerras. En el año 2001 se produce el 11S y Estados Unidos invade Afganistán, y en el año 2003 Estados Unidos invade Irak. El hecho de que esos conflictos sean muy cuestionados por Europa Occidental y por amplios sectores progresistas permite a Fox News erigirse como un defensor acérrimo de la posición conservadora partidaria de la invasión de Irak, y por tanto todos los americanos que se identifican con esa posición conservadora favorable a la contienda ven en Fox News y en sus presentadores y opinadores conservadores el reflejo a lo que ellos opinan. Por tanto, fidelizan mucho la audiencia en ese aspecto.
Americans and indeed our foreign allies who actively work against our military once the war is underway will be considered enemies of the state by me.
But first, are the Americans who went over to Baghdad to act as human shields, well, are they more than just protesters? Are they traitors?
En teoría, la gestión del canal y sus contenidos es exclusivamente cosa de Ailes. De hecho, en el año 2004-2005 se produce la pelea entre Rupert Murdoch y su hijo Lachlan Murdoch, porque en el fondo la teoría que más se repite es que Lachlan Murdoch estaba muy contento dirigiendo los medios de su padre en Australia, y cuando lo lleva a Estados Unidos se siente un poco descolocado y no sabe cuáles son sus funciones, y ya está ahí Roger Ailes, y ahí hay un pulso que lo gana Roger Ailes, porque al final el resultado es que quien acaba asumiendo todo el mando empresarial de Fox News es Roger Ailes.
Yo dirijo Fox News, no tú.
Soy el jefe adjunto de operaciones de News Corp. Y News Corp es dueña de Fox News.
Por mí como si te crees Jesucristo Todopoderoso.
Y de hecho, mientras que en la CNN la presencia de Ted Turner era constante, opinando e incluso haciendo entrevistas, la presencia de Murdoch en Fox News es relativamente secundaria. No está muy encima. Cuando en el año 2011 se produce el momento más difícil para el grupo News Corp de Rupert Murdoch, porque sale el escándalo del espionaje de la revista británica News of the World, propiedad de Murdoch, Fox News prácticamente no habla del tema, porque entiende que no tienen que darse por aludidos. Dicen, esto es un tema de News of the World y del Sun, a nosotros ni nos va ni nos viene, ¿no? La CNN intentó usarlo para criticar, es decir, qué feo que Fox News no esté hablando del News of the World.
Here are many questions recently about the extent to which Rupert Murdoch's entities have covered the News of the World scandal. These are questions fueled in part by a clip from that program you just mentioned called Fox News Watch. We're going to show you this clip. It's from this past Sunday. It's streaming video meant for the public, but it's during a commercial and not part of the broadcast. Panelists are talking about a certain news story. Take a listen. Anybody want to bring up the subject we're not talking about today for the streamers? Sure, go ahead, Cal. No, go ahead. I'm not going to touch it. Now, it may seem obvious that they're talking about the News of the World scandal. We've in fact confirmed that's what they were talking about.
Pero el Roger Ailes entendía que una cosa era el grupo News Corp y otra cosa era Fox News. De algunas estrellas de Fox News merece que hablemos en vídeos aparte. Roger Ailes pudo sentirse como el ejecutivo televisivo amigo número 1 del gobierno durante la etapa del señor Bush y como el enemigo número 1 durante la etapa del señor Obama.
That you've gotten such favorable press, either because of bias or because you're good box office, that it's hurting the country because you're not being sufficiently held accountable for your policies. Assess that.
It's very hard for me to swallow that one. First of all, I've got one television station that is entirely devoted to attacking my administration. I mean, you know, that's a pretty...
I assume you're talking about Fox.
Well, that's a pretty big megaphone. And you'd be hard-pressed if you watched the entire day to find a positive story about me on that front.
Etapa en la que Glenn Beck fue el símbolo de la campaña anti-Obama hasta su salida de la Fox en 2011, mientras que Megyn Kelly fue la encargada de representar en la Fox a los conservadores contrarios a Donald Trump. Pero no fue Obama ni Trump quien hundió a Ailes, sino el Me Too, las denuncias por presunto acoso sexual contra Roger Ailes.
Boss and the genius behind Fox News, Roger Ailes, of sexual harassment and reprisal.
Estas forzaron a la cadena a llegar a acuerdos judiciales con las denunciantes, que se tradujo en indemnizaciones millonarias y en la destitución de Roger Ailes como ejecutivo de la Fox, que moriría poco después.
Ailes, until now viewed as untouchable, Wolf, he filled a void in television, for better or worse. Some would say worse, others would say better. 20 years ago, launching Fox News from nothing, creating this conservative public square on television. Fox News is the #2 channel on all of cable behind ESPN.
Junto con Ailes también fue despedido su adjunto, Bill Sain, supuestamente implicado en labores de encubrimiento. Y el mismo modus operandi fue seguido con Bill O'Reilly, el presentador estrella de la Fox News desde su fundación, también acusado de acoso sexual.
Endgame is let's link O'Reilly with Harvey Weinstein. Let's make him that. So we take him out of the marketplace forever.
Nobody pays $32 million to anybody for false accusations. Nobody. I don't care how much money you have.
My conscience is clear.
You were accused of sexual harassment. You said at the time you did absolutely nothing wrong.
Correct.
Do you stand by that?
I do.
Let's give Bill his proper due, because you may not know this, but Bill O'Reilly was the biggest figure in the history of cable news. At one point, no one even came close because they were afraid that he might sexually harass them. Some of us watch that clip and we see madness. But in the mid-90s, a man by the name of Roger Ailes watched it and he saw greatness. And he reached out and said, "Come join me at Fox, O'Reilly. And together we will build a cable empire fueled by white Christian resentment. And then as our masterstroke, we will both be forced to leave because we couldn't keep our penises in our white Christian pants." Allegedly.
Bill O'Reilly is speaking out about his reported $32 million sexual harassment settlement. Now, he denies he did anything wrong, says this is an injustice at the highest level. Take a look.
Am I mad at God? Yeah, I'm mad at him. I wish I had more protection. I wish this stuff didn't happen. I can't explain it to you. Yeah, I'm mad at him. If I die tomorrow and I get an opportunity, I'll say, why'd you guys work me over like that?
God. That's what you're going to say to God, Bill? Why did you work me over?
Presentadores de otras cadenas también tuvieron que dimitir por acusaciones similares, como el señor Charlie Rose.
CBS this morning, and his colleagues reacted just a few hours ago. Take a look.
Let me be very clear. There is no excuse for this alleged behavior. Women cannot achieve equality in the workplace or in society until there is a reckoning and a taking of responsibility.
I got an hour and 42 minutes of sleep last night. Both my son and my daughter called me. Oprah called me and said, "Are you okay?" I am not okay. How do you wrap your brain around that? I'm really grappling with that. That said, Charlie does not get a pass here. He doesn't get a pass from anyone in this room. We are all deeply affected. We are all rocked by this.
I mean, Rose released a statement saying that he doesn't believe all the allegations, but also that, quote, "I always felt I was pursuing shared feelings, even though I now realize I was mistaken," he told TMZ last night. There was no wrongdoing. So is there an apology in this sort of non-apology?
O Matt Laurel,
This is a sad morning here at Today and at NBC News. Just moments ago, NBC News Chairman Andy Lack sent the following note to our organization. Dear colleagues, on Monday night we received a detailed complaint from a colleague about inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace by Matt Lauer. It represented, after serious review, a clear violation of our company's standards. As a result, we have decided to terminate his employment. While it is the first complaint about his behavior in the over 20 years he has been at NBC News, we were also presented with reason to believe this may not have been an isolated.
In fact, it looks like NBC, the network that coddled Harvey Weinstein and Matt Lauer, by the way, had partnered with a foreign left-wing group in Europe.
Aunque sobre estos comunicadores no se hicieron series ni películas como si pasó con los de la Fox News.
El Consejo ha votado, ya no eres el director ejecutivo de Fox News. Y una mierda. Estás acabado. Si haces esto, te quedarás sin cadena. Me llevaré a toda la plantilla y montaré algo nuevo. Shep, Greta, O'Reilly, Hannity, son todos leales a mí. ¡A mí!
Le conocí hace 40 años. Es igual de ligón que el oso pardo del Renacido. Yo dije que las acusaciones son enfermizas. ¿Por qué lo son?
Porque yo no estaba en el pacto.
¿Qué pacto?
Breitbart dice que hay un pacto entre nuestros 50 mejores presentadores. Si echan a Roger, dimitimos.
Genial, ¿dónde hay que firmar?
Yo no he oído nada de eso.
Ni yo. Roger lo filtraría.
Noticia falsa. Vamos.
Tras el escándalo, la familia Murdoch asumió directamente la gestión de la Fox.
That Rupert thought that he could do Roger's job. Remember, 2 weeks after Roger left, in July of 2016, Rupert moved into his office.
Sean Hannity es la única estrella que permanece de la era Ailes, considerado uno de los periodistas más poderosos y cercanos a Donald Trump, hasta el punto de asegurarse que el presidente Trump le obedecía.
Look, Sean Hannity's been a friend to me, and he's incredibly persuasive and powerful. I would argue he was, without question, the most powerful person in the media because what he says, the president does. Not vice versa.
Oh, sure.
Hannity says,
he's a transformational
does.
figure in the media. I mean, Hannity is unlike anyone else in the media now.
We've never seen that before. What he says, the president
It's not
does.
that clear.
La señora Laura Ingraham es otra de las presentadoras estrella de la cadena. Pero la principal figura de la Fox en la era posterior a Roger Ailes ha sido Tucker Carlson, que consiguió conectar con liberales libertarios, trumpistas, anti-woke y hasta antiglobalistas, y desafiando la corrección política hasta el punto de ser considerado un presentador afín al presidente de Rusia.
Study after study has shown that when men make less than women, women generally don't want to marry them. Now maybe they should want to marry them, but they don't. Over big populations, this causes a drop in marriage, a spike in out-of-wedlock births, and all the familiar disasters that inevitably follow. More drug and alcohol abuse, higher incarceration rates, fewer families formed in the next generation. Our leaders demand that you shut up and accept this. We have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor, they tell us, even if it makes our own country poorer and dirtier and more divided.
Pero algunas de sus opiniones han costado caras a la Fox News, como insinuar que las empresas privadas encargadas del recuento electoral en Estados Unidos podían haber cometido fraude para beneficiar a Biden en las últimas elecciones.
Points up the problem. Look, the country is really closely divided in a lot of places. Pennsylvania is one, Nevada's another, Arizona, lots of different places. And so you're going to have close election results. And people have to have confidence that those results are real, that they can trust the mechanics of the election. And what happened today in Maricopa County, where some huge percentage of voting machines, electronic voting machines, according to the Arizona Republic, 30%, they claim these are Dominion voting machines, but it almost doesn't matter. Electronic voting machines didn't allow people to vote, apparently. And that, whatever you think of it, the cause of it, it shakes people's faith in the system. That is an actual threat to democracy, and it points up the core problem, which is we're not really very serious about democracy if we're using electronic voting machines. Or if we're not requiring...
Causó un nuevo litigio, nuevamente resuelto por la vía de una indemnización millonaria extrajudicial. Después de este último episodio, Tucker Carlson y Fox News pusieron fin a una relación en una ruptura no exenta de controversia.
We have been off the air for a week. You know who else has? Tucker Carlson. The difference is I'm allowed back on.
word has just come down that Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways. And thank you for his service to the network and host of the prior contributor. Wave.
Tucker Carlson got an offer from Russia State Media. That's got to be a tempting offer. Up till now, he's been representing Russia pro bono.
I don't know if it was voluntary or was somebody fired, but I think Tucker's been terrific. He's been, especially over the last year or so, he's been terrific to me.
There's a lot of turmoil over there at Fox. I mean, $787 they just paid. Why would they get rid of a guy who's performing? Why would somebody do that to their business? Because they're losing money right now. Their stock has gone down.
Well, I was surprised that they made a settlement on that case. I thought that was a case that should easily be won. And they made a settlement. Look, you'll have to ask them. I'm not representing them at all by any means. But the Tucker situation, again, you don't know if it's a firing. Maybe he left because he wasn't being given his free reign. He wants free reign, maybe. But I was surprised by it.
Desde entonces, Fox News lucha por mantener el liderazgo histórico que tiene como la cadena de noticias más vista de Norteamérica. Junto a las críticas que tiene desde sectores progresistas, se une ahora la crítica de sectores más derechistas que consideran que con la salida de Beck, O'Reilly, Greta y sobre todo Carlson, Fox News no está siendo suficientemente derechista.
We're there. We had you, Bill, me, and we had people that were following stories, especially the two of us. We would delve into things that made people uncomfortable, like Tucker does. Tucker's the only one there now that I think actually is really exploring and looking for the truth.
Fox's loss is someone else's gain because over at conservative network Newsmax, primetime viewership has surged. That's big news for their primetime lineup.
People have survived.